When I was young, I remember one day in the backyard when things were different. On this day, it was a magical day. It almost felt like an alien presence was with me that day. When I looked up at the sky and it was an overcast day, the best way I could describe the day would be in Pink Floyd's song Comfortably Numb. When I was a child, I had a fleeting glimpse of that day. I was looking for that day many times, again and again, but I couldn't find it. Later on in my life, I go to sleep. I've been watching programs about the pyramids, about aliens, and I'm about to go to sleep, and I feel like I'm levitating off the bed. I was in some sort of fight for myself, like something was possessing me and trying to get my spirit, and I fought and I fought and I fought. I couldn't move. I'm sure I was levitating on the bed. I always had goals of, not like a normal person has goals, like being a football star, or if you're a female you might want to be a ballerina. That's when you're really young. I don't know what females want to be when they get a little bit older. But I had no intentions, even though I was so good at sports, of being a football star. I didn't really want to get educated. Later on I did. I passed my business computing degree and I became a Cisco certified network engineer. But I never really captured what I really wanted out of life, apart from thinking of the higher ideals, the noble ideals, and that's where trouble came into my life. Because in this world you have to be like almost everybody else. These days you can't be a philosopher, and I never would pertain to say that I am a philosopher or anything in that sense. But I have had trouble, and I've had a few hospital admissions. They think I've got an illness that I'm sure I do not have. I don't deal well with the mundane life, so at the moment, I've got this bug out of my system at the moment, but before I was quite addicted to gambling, because to give me the kick in life, because when I'm on this medication that they're forcing me on, I do not feel any sort of buzz in life, and I'm searching for a buzz when I could be doing other things, could be doing more productive things, but it's a mode of survival that I have to do what I do. But I know the gambling, there's no future in that. But anyway, back to what I was saying earlier. When I was young, I try and recollect what I wanted, because that's the only way to survive when you're on this insidious form of a medication. You think of what you really wanted, and I didn't really want anything, but I was interested in a lot of things. I was interested in aliens. I was interested in God. I was interested in philosophers, in great composers, in reading the Britannicas, which we got a whole volume of, which I'm fortunate to have, that my mum and dad were able to acquire that. But later on, that the Britannicas became useless because we can find so much more on the internet. But the internet has information that you've got to really decipher. But anyway, I'm really focusing now on things in the past that could be the future, or things in the future that were the past that will enable themselves to once again become the future. When you think about an individual or an individual's motivation back then, you try and capture that in yourself again to become what you were always supposed to be. Now, aliens. War of the Worlds was interesting many years ago when there was radio telecast or radio broadcast. People were so afraid that the US government decided not to tell people about aliens. I think us humans will deal quite easily with knowing that there is another life form that exists, and I don't think it's mutually exclusive with aliens and God. I think both of them can exist in unison. Nothing to be worried about. I think the government is subsidizing or allowing or giving money or budgeting for movies such as Independence Day and other movies, Steven Spielberg's movies, E.T., then there's third in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. All these movies allow us, Cocoon, all these movies allow us humans, us viewers, to encourage feelings in us. The government encourages feelings in us, and then they see how we behave when we watch this. Is it talked about? Now we've got Facebook and YouTube and other things like that. Now if something really brilliant, some brilliant movie came up that was so close to what aliens really are, or what the technologies there are and their interests in us, and we would be able to, or the government would be able to ascertain how we would behave in relation to that. I know in New Mexico there is the Dulce facility. It has many levels and experimental levels, and in that facility humans interact with aliens. We are interacting with aliens in America. We are interacting, Russians are interacting with aliens in Russia. The New World Order knows about this, and this is higher than even the governments of state in the United States. I don't know. I think the government should come clean, and we can't live the way we are at the moment. Our economic system like this will not allow us to survive in the future. We need to develop technology a lot more faster. What if an asteroid comes here? We don't have the payloads or missiles to accurately knock that down. We need to be able to create technology faster. I don't know, there's a food shortage problem here, and there's the population growing, and I think the United States government or any other governments, we've got to manage food properly. And we know the population is growing, so I think maybe even diseases may be introduced, or cures that we have for some diseases will not be allowed to be procured to the public. There's a real problem with population. There are the elite, the people that would be taken underground in case of an asteroid hit, and so the human race would survive. The elite. There's been movies on the elite people, the people that are brain, etc. The people that could procure the human race if there was a natural disaster. All these things are very interesting. We've got to think of the bigger things, not just to worry about the little things we do day to day. We sort of live in a consumer society where day to day is so normal, it's affecting us. We're not seeking higher ideals and goals for the human race. Instead of all these things that we're doing now, the sporting events are great, but come on, let's concentrate on things that we do in the future. We've got so much baggage. Each person has baggage, but so does the governments, and the way society is run. There's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of excess that humans at the moment live by. We live in a world of excess. We need to vision ourselves terraforming other planets. We need a national program like the Kennedy space program in the late 1950s and 60s, which brought man to the moon. We do not really understand whether man has been to the moon, because they have not been since. But that could have been a big lie. That could have been a movie scam sort of thing where man was not brought to the moon. But we need to bring man to the moon. We need to bring man further out in space. We need to develop technology quickly. We need a national program, an international-led program for every nation to get involved in space exploration. We need more scientists, but we need also God to anchor us, because we are a unique species. We were made in the image of God, so we need an anchoring point. We need laws to govern biotechnology. We need all these things. We need things to stop furious pace, which could destroy the world. You've seen Judgment Day, Terminator, all these doomsday type movies about technology taking over, and then there was the Unabomber. We've seen all this happening. We know this is happening because individuals reflect what's happening in society, and that's what the Unabomber in an extreme sense was reflecting what he saw to be the case. He was an intelligent man, but he terrorized people, which I do not promote at all. But we've got to look at things, why and the motivations behind and what is actually happening. There are reasons for it. It's a reflection of things as they are and things that will be. The present or the past into the present into the future, or you could reverse it. This is all coming to pass. We need to tame technology. We need the right laws. We need to forget about money. There's some people that with money wanting to explore space and that, and because they got the money, it's all led by some sort of insidious thing about money, where if humans were more equal, if there was a system to make humans more equal, and there's got to be some sort of limitation on population. We just can't breed like rabbits like they do in Africa and India now, and there was a one-child policy in China, which I thought was a good policy, because there is going to be a food shortage, and we're never going to go to other planets and terraform them, because terraforming takes millions or billions of years. But we may, if we discover the right technology, we may be able to find planets like ours to go to. If there is life there, well, we just can't take over that place. We just can't. We've got to communicate. We've got to develop communication technologies to communicate with aliens. I think this is already occurring in the Dulles facility.